This presentation is on the research proposal to the Government of Canada for a study that will determine conclusively the diet that is best suited for Canadians to reduce and essentially prevent future obesity. The importance of changing our health patterns, not only for Canadians but worldwide. We are specifically concerned for Canadians in the cost benefit to the government. It is key that we change not only ourselves, but this will have a trickle effect and go on from generation to generation as we're able to educate our youth on the benefits and importance of healthy eating. Essentially, the diet that we conclude to be the most effective for fat loss and fat prevention is going to need to be educated to our youth as well as our adults, so that adults are able to enforce these eating habits with their children. Some expense stats. In 1997, the direct cost of obesity to healthcare in Canada was $1.8 billion. This was a direct cost. No indirect costs were available for that time frame. In 2001, we've seen about the similar direct cost of $1.6 billion, slightly less, and indirect cost of $2.7 billion for a total of $4.3 billion cost to the government for obesity and obesity-related diseases. This number spiked quite drastically over the next 5 years, as we've seen direct costs go up to $6 billion and indirect costs of $5 billion in the year 2006. This is a 255% increase in expenses in obesity-related diseases in 5 years. As we can see here in the graph of direct causes, we see the exponential spike in 5 years. There was a slight decrease from 1997 to 2001, and then after that we see a massive spike, in costs from obesity. Here we have a graph of the total cost to Canada for obesity-related diseases. In 2001, we were just below $5 billion. 2006, of course, we spiked up to $11 billion, and at that 255% rate of increase over the 5 years, we have an estimate of nearly $40 billion in costs to the Government of Canada for obesity and obesity-related diseases in this fiscal year. This is an extreme price they're paying, and definitely one that can be significantly reduced, as well as long-term health benefits to Canadians and cost savings over a significant time frame. The diets that we're going to go over, 6 diets and one style of eating. So essentially, these are the six diets that we want to study and determine which one of them is the best. We've done a little research of our own to determine that these diets are generally ones that work and are of most benefit to study. So first off, we want to take a look at paleo diet. Typically this is used by athletes, and essentially it is just a natural way of eating. You want to eat basically foods that were alive or are grown. For your vegetables and your fruits, you're looking for like organic, as natural as you can get with them. And with, say, your beef, you don't want just your regular grocery store beef. You want grass-fed beef. So you want to ensure that it is as natural as it gets with paleo. Blood type diet is another one that we want to take a look at, but we don't feel is especially promising. Basically, it just takes a study of your blood type and the type of foods you should and shouldn't eat based on your blood type are predetermined in other studies that we'll use. And for instance, one blood type might not eat gluten, another blood type might not react well to milk products. So we're going to look into that one. Another one that we is definitely promising for quick weight loss, but we have the early inclination that it won't be long term, and it's not effective diet to really last long. It's carbohydrate free diet. Basically, this eliminates all carbohydrates, and what this will do is cause a quick loss in weight, but over the long term, you will definitely plateau, and most likely you will revert back to old eating habits. Probably the most promising in this is carbohydrate cycling, and the way this works is you go carbohydrate free for a couple of days, and then you eat carbs for one day. Basically, this keeps a chemical balance, keeps your metabolism high with the 1 day carbohydrates, and with the 2 to 3 days of no carbohydrates, your body's just a fat burning machine. Another one we're going to look into is gluten-free diet. Basically, this means your breads, no gluten. However, the issue with the gluten-free diet is that you still get some of those high insulin spiking foods, like sometimes instead of in the bread, if it's gluten-free bread, it has white rice or tapioca starch, and those significantly raise insulin levels beyond a necessary need. Another good diet is definitely starch-free. Basically, you're not eating your potatoes, your bread, any of those quick-acting carbohydrate foods are being eliminated. So you're still getting some carbohydrates in, say, beans and green vegetables. Mainly your carbohydrates are fibers. And then on to intermittent fasting. This is a style of eating, and basically you will be fasting for part of the day. So say a 12 to 16 hour fast for some people, where they'll go all night, obviously sleeping without eating, and then into the morning, and most likely won't have their first meal until about lunchtime. This has shown quite a few results with case studies that we've reviewed, and looks very, very promising. So basically, we want to reduce the expenses to the government, but in turn they will have excess money to put back into the economy to subsidize these healthy foods and really encourage people to eat them and break the stigma that the natural and the healthy foods are more expensive. Another way to subsidize this money is by taxing foods that are going to hinder the fat loss efforts. For example, potentially like white breads, as just an example, not anything conclusively determined yet. And we want to promote that diet is possible with fat loss through just simply eating your proper diet. We know a lot of individuals are far too busy to exercise every day, and we understand this, and we want to show that it is possible to maintain a low body fat by simply having the proper diet. Thank you for taking the time to view our presentation, and we look forward to discussing more with you about our research proposal. Thank you.